Hi everyone, welcome to another session by Civils 360 IAS Academy. We are continuing our session on government schemes. I hope all of you have watched the previous sessions. Today we are going to discuss a government scheme that is very old, and that is MSP or Minimum Support Price. This was a scheme that is launched in 1966. Before going into the scheme, as I said earlier, if there is a scheme, there should be some underlying problems, right? So first let's analyze what are the underlying problems in Indian agriculture. First and foremost issue is fund, right? The farmers lack formal credit mechanisms. Mostly in rural areas, there will be some money lenders from whom the farmers lend, and that will finally lead to a debt trap. Lack of formal credit system lead to debt trap for farmers, and this is one of the major reason for farmer suicides. Another reason is, another issue that is faced by Indian agriculture is lack of land holdings or fragmented land holdings. Most of the Indian farmers are either holding very small to medium amount of land, or they may be landless laborers in someone else's land. So fragmented land holdings is another issue that is faced by the agriculture sector. Next thing is the dynamicity of the prices. Today, if 1 kg of rice that costs 40 rupees, tomorrow it may go up to 50, it may go as low as to 30, right? So that kind of volatility exists in agricultural markets. That price volatility, that reduces the income of farmers. The next thing is uncertain weather. Due to climate change, due to some other factors, this climate uncertainty become one of the key issue faced by agriculture. Some years the rainfall is pretty high, some years it go as low as possible. So this drought and flood is affecting our agricultural system. Apart from these, there is something called unseasonal rainfall. That means if the rain is needed in June, and that is the sowing season, and it grows for say 4 months, and when it gets harvested, that crop need a dry season naturally, and rainfall happens then it is called unseasonal rainfall. That rainfall should not be there, but it's happening nowadays. Unseasonal rainfall, unseasonal weather. These are some of the problems faced by agriculture. Now, to solve this uncertainty in weather and volatility in market, government put forward MSP or Minimum Support Price. As the name suggests, Minimum Support Price or MSP is the minimum price which is predetermined and that applies on selected crops. Who determines which are the selected crops? We will look into it later. First, it is a minimum price which is predetermined, and that too on selected crops. Right. Now, this MSP acts as a safety net for farmers, and it provides food security for the nation. How? When you guaranteed a minimum price, you will get attracted to that, right? If you are given 50 rupees for farming rice, you will do that definitely, right? So the production increases, that will in turn increase the food security of the nation. And how it is a safety net for farmers? It acts as a safety net for farmer income. Whatever happens, however the weather go, whatever the market volatility, you will be assured a minimum price. So, you are getting a minimum income at least. That is how it acts as a safety net. Got it? Now, who determines this MSP? Obviously, that will be government. But in government, who determines this MSP? And which are the selected crops? That's we need to look into it. Now, the MSP is recommended by an authority called CACP or Commission on Agriculture Cost and Prices. This organization recommends what should be the MSP, and this recommendation examined by something called CCEA or Cabinet Committee on Economic Affairs they finalize this price, they approve this price and they announce this. Now, how this CACP determines the MSP? CACP fix this MSP at a margin of 50% minimum. That means if you spend 100 rupees for your cropping as your cost of production, CACP ensures that you will at least get 150 rupees so that your 100 rupees cost of production is covered along with an income of 50 rupees. Right. So, CACP ensures this 50% income for the farmers. That's how the CACP fixes price for every crop as 50% of cost of production is added. Now, what are the factors? Obviously, first factor will be demand and supply of that crop, both in domestic market and international market. Another thing is, something very important is intercrop price parity. What that means? If you give an MSP for rice, then these farmers will start producing rice. And other crops, say maize, its production will reduce considerably, right? So, price of maize will start to hike. To address this and maintain a balance between the price of this rice and maize, government will try to balance the MSP for both. That's what government tries with MSP. Now, which are the crops that get MSP? There are 22 crops that are mandated with MSP. Among that also, there is 14 Kharif crops and 6 Rabi crops with 2 commercial crops. That's how it sums up to 22 crops. What are Kharif crops? They are monsoon crops. Rabi crops are winter crops. Commercial crops are cash crops. This monsoon crop means they are cultivated between June and September. Winter crops, they are cultivated between October and say March. Okay. So, there is 14 monsoon crops or Kharif crops that get MSP. There are 6 winter crops or Rabi crops that gets MSP. 2 cash crops that get MSP. Which are paddy, jowar, bajra, maize, ragi, tur, moong, urad, groundnut, soya bean, sunflower seed, sesame, Niger and cotton. Like some of these you can guess, right? Paddy, obviously you can guess, jowar, bajra, maize, ragi, all these things you can guess, but something you might not be heard of is Niger seed, and that was actually a previous year question that we will solve. Another is rabi crops. Which are the rabi crops? Wheat, barley, gram, masoor, safflower, rapeseed or mustard. Among this also, safflower may not be familiar to you. Safflower is actually called as pseudo saffron. It is pseudo saffron. This is nothing but similar to saffron. It is giving color to food. It's used in food colors. It's a rabi crop that is getting MSP. Another is the cash crops are jute and copra. These are the 22 crops that gets MSP. This is all about MSP. Now let's look into the previous year questions that has come in UPSC Prelims. First question is from UPSC 2023 and that question was on Niger seeds. Question goes like this. There is MSP for Niger seeds. This Niger is a kharif crop and this is used by tribal people for cooking. This third statement can be taken as a general statement, so that might be true, but these two statements you need to know it. That's why I given here it as a classification, which are the kharif crops, which are the rabi crops and which are the commercial crops. Okay. So, as I said earlier, Niger is a kharif crop. So, this is correct and it also covered under MSP. So, all these three statements are correct. C will be the answer. When we discuss about MSP, there is one more thing called FRP or Fair Remunerative Price. What is this fair remunerative price? This is somewhat like MSP but given to sugar cane but in a different manner. In MSP it's like government is procuring some portion of the produce or it is mandating that this is the minimum price to sell this products, but in FRP what government do is it is not directly given to farmers, not for sugarcane farmers, but the sugarcane is purchased from these farmers by mill owners, right? And government intervenes here. Government is mandating that these mill owners must buy this sugarcane from farmer by giving some fair prices only. That financial gap is filled by government, but this ensures the farmers get a fair price. That's what FRP means. I just mentioned it. Now, next question that is asked in 2020 prelims, and this was like, this MSP on cereals, pulses and oil seeds are unlimited. Next statement is, this cereals and pulses MSP is fixed by any state or UT level to which market prices will never rise. Let's analyze these statements. The statement first states that the MSP on all these crops are unlimited. What this statement means? If you are producing a cereal or if you are producing a pulse or an oil seed, the government will purchase all of the produce from you. Is that the case? No. There is a cap of 25%. right? 25% of produced will be taken from the farmers. So this statement about the unlimited purchase is wrong. Now, this second statement goes like this: it will not allow market price to rise. That's not actually the concept of MSP, right? If the market price go below MSP, the farmers will get MSP, right? That is the purpose of MSP. If the price of rice go below 30 rupees, the farmers is assured a minimum amount of 30 rupees. It is not like it will not rise above 30. That statement states that this MSP ensure the price of rice will not go above 30. That is not the case. The reverse is the case, right? So this is also wrong. So answer will be D. I hope all of you are clear with this topic of MSP. Thank you. See you on the next session.